Expedition 33 is a difficult game, so I decided to make it harder by beating the entire game while not leveling. This means I won't be able to get any HP, meaning I would get one-shot by everything. Fuck me, man. I will be terribly slow, so bosses would get more turns, and I won't be able to upgrade my damage stats. Most importantly, I'll have to play with a very low crit rate, which significantly reduces my damage potential. There's a few rules for this run. I'm not allowed to put my stats into anything. Unfortunately, because of the way the game's designed, I auto-level after every encounter, but even though you see my levels go up, my stats will always be at 0, as I won't be allocating any of those points. 2. I'm allowed to upgrade skills and weapons. Unfortunately, weapons also auto-level in this game, so there wouldn't be any way to prevent that. This run was incredibly fun, so I hope you guys enjoy the video. Oh, fuck off! We start the run as Gustav, and I'm sure nothing bad's ever gonna happen to him. We do the Sciel tutorial fight, and there's not much else going on with the prologue. We go around collecting a few Lumina, which will be useful later on, and trigger the Gommage sequence. The first area is the Spring Meadows, where we recruit our first party member, Lune. The first enemy encounter goes by pretty quick, and we get our first Picto, Dodger, which is useless, but we move along the area to find a few more Pictos. Critical burn is super good for the run, because burn damage is excellent early game, and this lets you crit on any burning enemies. We collect a few more Lumina and upgrade materials for later here. Next, I decide to fight the first mini-boss of the game, the Chromatic Lancelayer, because he dropped something very important. His attacks took me a long time to get used to initially, but since you fight the Lancelayer enemy type quite a lot throughout the game, I got used to them. After beating this boss, we get one of the best Pictos in the game, Augmented Attack. This Picto gives you 50% increased base attack damage, which is going to be crazy useful for our Verso build later on. We also pick up a Revive Tint shard, which is going to be really important for this run because I can't level my HP at all, so I'm probably going to be reviving a lot. Then we head to the first major boss, the Eveque. The Eveque is one of the simpler bosses with not too many moves. The ground spikes attack comes at a decent rhythm, and the only other attack to worry about is the melee. Our damage is pretty garbage for now, so we focus on building burn with Lune for the early game. Gustav's overcharge comes in clutch for many of the early game attacks because of the break and the damage, so we try to build charges for that as much as we can. The rest of the fight goes smoothly thanks to counterattacks, stuns, and burn procs. We beat the boss at no damage too at that.
La Paintress doit mourir.
Once we're done with the Eveque, we exit the Spring Meadows and traverse the continent, heading to our next area, the Flying Waters. Before heading to the next boss, we get a few more Pictos here. First, the Marking Shots Picto. This Picto gives you a 20% chance to apply Mark with free aim shots. Mark is great for us because the next damage instance gets amplified by 50%. Then we head to the manor and get Mael. Noko, our friendly merchant, sells another good Picto which we'll use on Verso later, Exposing Attack. This Picto applies Defenseless on every base attack, which is an armor debuff on the enemy for 25%. Next, we do a tiny little parkour sequence to get one of the best Pictos, Augmented Aim. Augmented Aim buffs your free aim damage by 50%. You can see we're going for a free aim base attack build for some of our party members, because free aiming in this game is honestly busted, which is surprising, because I thought it was useless during my first playthrough. Rewarding Mark is another Picto we pick up that synergizes with our free aim build really well. This Picto gives you +2 AP on hitting a marked target, which means more shots to fire. Next, we head to our second mini-boss of the game, the Burgeon. The Burgeon starts to fight off by eating the only character in my party that can break, so that fight starts off fantastic. Thankfully, I fought this boss a lot of times to know most of his moves really well, though some of them, especially the crushing combo, has the weirdest timings ever. Once we beat him, we get another insane Picto, Augmented Counter. This Picto gives you 25% damage buff on counterattacks, which is amazing for this run. Finally, it's time for the next major boss, Goblu. Goblu is a really fun early boss with a banger of a soundtrack. He's got a jump attack that comes out at a little odd timing on the third drop. His second move is a melee combo that's pretty well telegraphed. You just gotta be careful about his phase transition because his combos go from being a 2-piece to a 4-piece. His flower gimmick is pretty cool the first time, but it gets kind of boring after. He basically summons a few flowers that gives him armor on the next turn, then he summons even more flowers that gives him even more armor. Thankfully, shooting the flowers is pretty free and it's easy to ignore. We're mostly still going for the fire damage with Lune, and since Sciel doesn't have Virtuous stance yet, we gotta try the offensive stance. Offensive switch is pretty decent for now because it applies defenseless that we can stack for Gustav's overcharge. We use Lumiere Assault as the fastest way for now to build charges, and just like that, the second major boss also ends with no damage taken. Next, we head to the Ancient Sanctuary. Since we're not leveling stats, you're probably wondering if it's even possible to kill these Patanks, and the answer is no, it isn't. At least not right now, so we just ignore them for now. This area has nothing special for now, so we head to the next major boss, the ultimate Sakapatate. This guy has a left-right melee jump combo that's pretty intuitive. He's got this huge delayed slam, but thankfully these attacks are all well telegraphed, so it's not too much of a problem. The few attacks that do cause issues are the shield slam and the cannon attack. The shield timing is really weird, and the cannon attack is pretty fast, so you gotta clutch your parries. Thankfully, you can avoid the entire shield attack by breaking his shield arm by targeting his weak spot. Once again, I break him using Gustav's overcharge, which lets me aim and shoot the spot. This restricts the boss to only using the 2 weapon attacks. Since he's weak to fire damage, I also start using a decent bit of spark on Sciel. With the help of all the procs, the boss goes down and we're onwards to the Gestural Village. The Gestural Village is pretty important for a few reasons. First, we get our 4th party member, Sciel. But also, we get one of the best pictos for this run, Roulette. Roulette has a chance to deal either half your damage or double your damage, and on level 1, our base damage is so low that the loss doesn't really matter compared to the gains. Then, we head to the Gestural Arena and we choose Sciel as our champion for a very specific reason. Apparently I'm a god at the video game. I'm just a different beast. I'm built a little different, motherfuckers. There it is, hitless Sciel. Beating the arena on a specific character gives you a reward weapon unique to that character, and Sciel gets the Medallion, which starts her off on Virtuous stance. This is obviously incredibly useful early on, so we'll stick with it for a majority of the game. Next, we head to Eskier's Nest, where we steal his stone from Francois to use him as our car. This allows us to access the final area of Act 1, the Stone Wave Cliffs. Here, we pick up the Delaram weapon for Gustav. It's nothing special, but at least it's level 7, which is a decent upgrade. Then, we kill this trash mob here for one of the strongest early weapons for Sciel, the Chatillon. This weapon applies double the amount of foretell while making you take double damage, which at level 1 doesn't really matter since I'm getting one shot anyway. Finally, it's time for the next major boss and the finale of Act 1, the Lampmaster. The Lampmaster is the first real significant hurdle of the run because he's got a bunch of tricky moves. The explosion has a decent bit of delay to its timing, but at least there's a sound cue that can help you. It's also very rewarding to counter because you get a group counter. He also has a jumping dark attack that comes out a little bit quicker than his other jumping attack, both of which can confuse you with the timings. To add to this, after every turn of his attacks, he attacks you with his lamp projectiles, which are also annoying to time the counter to, but again, at least these give us more opportunities to counter, which Sciel is perfectly designed for as she's in Twilight, which enhances her damage too. The Disrupting Aim attack is another tricky Phase 1 attack that is just insanely delayed to start off with. Phase 1, however, isn't bad compared to what we're about to encounter. Enter Phase 2. Phase 2 introduces a whole bunch of variations and delays. His Disruptive Aim attack gets another delay. It's also incredibly hard to see his sword and which hand he's actually attacking you with. The most significant difference, however, is the variation in the Lamp Ritual. He now starts charging his lamps for an attack, which you can shoot in the exact order to interrupt. If you fail, however, he attacks you with a huge AoE Sword of Light. However, sometimes this is even better, because you can get the Expedition counter for a lot of damage. The worst attack in this phase, and maybe the entire game, is his Many Hands attack. This attack is probably one of the hardest in the game to identify the timings for, and I don't think I managed to parry it entirely even once. Oh, that's tragic. Thankfully, Gustav is still alive, and I can use his overcharge for the break. Canonical. Oh, he stays stunned. Okay, canonical ending. Dark Gustav Clutch. The insane Gustav Clutch. Holy.
Pour ceux qui viendront après.
Once we beat Lampmaster, we get the At Death's Door Picto, which boosts damage by 50% if your HP is below 30%. We'll be using this frequently throughout the run. We begin Act 2 with Verso joining the squad and head directly to our next major area, the Forgotten Battlefields. This area is quite short and all we do is pick up a few upgrade materials and another revived tent shard. We take the rope to find this hidden merchant who sells Inverted Affinity. This Picto applies Inverted to you, which prevents healing, however gives you a 30% damage boost while inverted. Then we head to the next major boss of this area, the Dualliste. The Dualliste is one of the coolest bosses in the game. He's got two faces and his attacks are thankfully similar across both. This is one of the bosses I was more familiar with because of how many times you fight his Phase 2 variant across the game. However, the Phase 1 ironically was throwing me off because he didn't have the second sword. I finally meet a boss where my characters are doing next to no damage, and it makes sense because up until this point, I was just using the default skills to see how far I could get. Instead of banging my head against the wall, I decide to finally spec into a few skills. I get Swift Stride for Sciel so she can switch to Virtuous mid-fight, and I get Rain of Fire to proc more burn. For Sciel, I get Phantom Blade and Seal Fate to synergize with her Foretell stacks on the Chadion. With Verso, I decide to just get the Powerful skill. This skill is a no-brainer because it's a 25% AoE buff for your team for 3 turns and 5 if you're on A Perfection. With Powerful applied on everyone, I focus on enabling Sciel and her Sealed Fate starts doing really good damage. Phantom Blade also gives us a huge pop. However, I still had to learn his Phase 1 parry timings. We finally get to Phase 2 after perfectly parrying every combo. Now the real fight begins, but I've had a decent bit of practice with Phase 2 already. In this phase, his combos get much longer, but we also get windows to jump for more free damage, and the longer his combos go, the better our counterattacks get. Another variation he introduces in Phase 2 is the Gradient Attack. Gradient attacks are great because they're fairly forgiving when it comes to parrying, and the counterattacks deal a lot of damage, especially when Sciel is in Virtuous and Sciel is in Twilight. The phase does have one tricky attack, and that's the Stormblood attack where he summons his clones. Once I figure out the timing for that attack, however, the fight goes smoothly and I get really close to beating the boss on the second try. Are we done? There it is! Not bad, not bad. After beating the Dualliste, I get the Dualiso weapon along with the combo attack Picto, both which are critical for our base damage build on Verso. The Dualiso lets Verso play another turn immediately after base attacking, and the combo attack lets him do an extra attack during the base attack combo. Next, we head to Monaco's station to get our final party member, you guessed it, Monaco. But before we head to the next boss, I upgrade some of my character's weapons to +9. Then we head to Eau Lumiere. The merchant here sells a revived tent shard, but also, more importantly, longer powerful, which makes Verso's powerful even better. We also find a really good weapon for Monaco here, the Nusaro. We finally head to our next boss, Renoir. Renoir is probably the most complicated boss so far and a huge difficulty spike in the game. His distance attack has really odd timings and isn't telegraphed well at all. He twirls a whole bunch before attacking, which is intended to bait you into parrying early, and let me tell you, he was pretty successful at baiting me. His gradient also just completely vanishes you from the party, so it's quite punishing if you're depending on revives. Thankfully, it's fairly easy to parry, and with Sciel's Virtuous, the counters do great damage. I even get it back to back, which I was very thankful for. With Verso, our build slowly starts to take shape. I combine the extra attack from the Dualiso and the combo attack to get a lot of AP, which lets me toss in a lot of free aim shots every turn. On his second turn, I use the remaining AP to apply powerful to my party. Sciel's Percy is our best damage dealer right now, especially with a mark. Our damage seems good for this stage in the game, and remember, we're still level 1, however, Renoir's distance combo still destroys me. I get to phase 2 thanks to more gradient encounters, and now he starts doing weird melee combos. The melee combo is one of the most bizarre attacks in the game because he does a whole dance routine before each attack designed to bait you, and bait me he does. The chroma attack is also much longer, and the parry windows are quite short and precise here. Sorry, we can carry. Sciel and Monaco's gonna carry. Dude, how did I not? Oh my god, man. Oh man. Dude, how did I not parry like a single one except the last one and then he does a follow-up anyway? Oh my god. In total, I think I spent an entire hour here learning his moveset. No! How did I fucking miss that?
C'est le moment de frapper.
Surely. God damn, man. Bro, how long did that take me? With Renoir finally down, we head to the 2 accents with the Mask Keeper as our first. Here, I decide to skip the extra masks on the side paths just to see how much of a difference it makes. The first phase of this boss has a wide array of moves corresponding to his 5 masks, and his delays are insane. Thankfully, there's a gimmick to this fight where if you break the eyes of each of the masks that come out, it will instantly trigger his phase 2. However, you still need to break 5 masks in total, and I have to survive. Oh, okay, we're good. Uh-oh. 07 to mile. With that, we immediately enter phase 2. His transition, however, sets our HP to 1, so I gotta perfectly parry everything on the first turn of phase 2 or die in one hit. This is where we discover what exactly changes if you don't destroy the side path masks. First, the Anger Mask enrages him, which lets him play twice in a row. His purple wave attack in this phase is really annoying, and aside from it being an AoE attack, it is a long combo. The second mask applies exhaust on you, which prevents you from gaining AP. Annoying, but not as bad as the third mask. The third mask heals the Mask Keeper for 18k every third turn. This was a huge thorn in my plans, because thanks to the damage cap, my biggest damage attacks still only deal 9k per hit. So my 18 was completely useless, but this was a moment I decided to reveal my true hard carry, Monoko with his Chalier combo. Look at that, 32k. Oh, the 9.9. Yes, okay, he lost it. Okay.
Je vais faire ça.
Big. I think we just Chalier combo again. Oh my god, I beat him! Let's go! Let's go! There it is, man. Fucking 23-minute fight. It's that easy. They said it couldn't be done. After we beat the Mask Keeper, we get the Immaculate Picto, which gives you a 30% damage boost as long as you don't take a hit. Next, we head to the second action, Sirene. The Sirene area has a lot of really useful items. We pick up another Revive 10 shard and go to the merchant on this left path here who sells us the Energizing Attack Picto. This Picto is again fantastic for Verso as he gains extra AP on base attacks. I also decide to skip the Tisser mini boss this time just to see what it would change in the actual fight. With Sirene, this fight isn't too bad save for one attack, the Grand Ballet. She starts off with her double glissando attack, which isn't that bad once you figure out the timings for it. The Tisser being alive alters the fight by giving her shields every few turns. It's thankfully not the most punishing mechanic. Her seduction gradient attack is also pretty misleading with the timing, but once you get it down, it's fairly easy to parry. Once we take the shields down, Sciel's Phantom Blade gets a pop off even more because I did upgrade her weapons after our last fight. Monoko also starts doing insane damage with the Stalak punches, which also helps a lot. We reach her phase 2 and Sirene starts the attack of my nightmares, the Grand Ballet. This attack is incredibly tricky and for some reason just feels so unintuitive to parry. I think it's a combination of the movement plus the camera shakes, but I eventually get the hang of it. If you fail a single parry though, you get team wiped. Once you get through the Grand Ballet, she gives you a few easier attacks like the jump attacks, which are more free damage. Thanks to Monoko's combos and Sciel's high damage Sciel Fade, we get really close to beating the boss.
Ton sort est scellé.
22. Oh god, what is this? Oh god. Oh, it's over. I don't remember this. You bitch. I didn't think you were gonna fuck me, man. The fucking she threw the whole fucking house at me, bro. Oh, it hurts, man. Oh man. Oh, but 9 HP clutch. Wait, I'm cursed? I'm fucking cursed? Oh, fuck. Wait, why am I cursed? Is that normal in this fight? Oh.
Me revoilà.
Oh my god. I should honestly just Phantom Blade, I think.
Dame Fortune Mastery aujourd'hui.
Ça devient intéressant.
And the Monaco gets one turn. I can gradient on Monaco. God, agile again. I just gotta gradient on Monaco. Hopefully this kills. Oh no! After beating Sirene, we get the Tisserand weapon for Sciel, which is a massive upgrade to the Chatillon we were using so far. Once we get the barrier breaker, we head to the monolith and straight to the next boss, who's once again Renoir. Renoir here is basically the same fight as before, except he's in phase 2 the whole time and he has a little kitty friend. The hour-long practice on the previous fight pays off here, and I don't have too many issues. The cat has a bunch of annoying attacks. The jump attack is a weird timing, and the tail gradient is easy to miss time. The worst attack for me, though, was the roar attack, because it's just a clusterfuck, to be honest, and really hard to perceive what's coming from where. Once I get better at the line combos and manage to fill up his break bar, I finally use Phantom Stars that I got before this fight to break Renoir. And now we Phantom Stars for the break.
Ton sort est scellé.
Alright, now here's where it all comes together. Because I can do the Mighty Strike. Okay, a really double 5k is all you give me? What are these rolls, bro? No. No, not like this, bro. Oh my god, man. It's fine, clutchable. It's clutchable, bro. It's fine. It's fine. I have Virtuous Strike. Oh, the classic Aidrun, bro. I've got a Virtuous here. Surely he dies. Mael, please. Mael, what are these numbers, Mael? How do you do 2K? Okay, surely Rain of Fire, though. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, thank God, man. Second Chance is an incredible Picto, but it's unfortunately too expensive for us to use right now, so I don't use it. Finally, we get to the Paintress. The Paintress is incredibly tanky for this stage in the game and also has a huge variety of combos. She starts off with her Void Meteors, which are really fast and last for a long while. It's very easy to mess up the rhythm of the parries. Honestly, not the worst. Her Gradient is one of the easier attacks to parry and doesn't cause too many issues. Okay, I remember the gradient timing on that attack. The pallet attack is deceptive, and I struggled with this for a bit until I got the rhythm down. Her Chroma Explosions have a decent audio and visual cue, so it's not too difficult to handle. However, the worst attack in this fight, and perhaps the entire game, I'm sure you'll all agree with me, is the Monolith Rocks. Oh God! Oh God! This attack is abysmal, and it took me so long to learn the timing for it. It's also very poorly telegraphed, so I struggled a lot with figuring out how to identify when to start parrying. After dying to the rocks over and over, I had to think of a way to deal damage faster so that I'd get less instances of that attack. So I decided to bench Verso for Mael and also give her Pyrolyze, which does a lot of burn damage. I keep the rest of the party as it is because Sciel and Monoko were doing a lot of good damage already. 2 hours later, and I finally identified that you see the camera zoom in and then out right before the first rock starts flying, which helps me parry the attack. Finally, we move on to phase 2 and enter the much harder part of the fight. Her Paintbrush attack that she starts with is thankfully easy enough to handle as it's only a 3-piece. However, the rest of her combos are actually insane. Her Unleash combo and her Flying combo are multi-hit 7 to 10 attack combos that do AoE damage and all have the weirdest baits and timings to them. Unleash takes down the whole party and the attempt with it because the reserves are kinda useless. Verso at this point deals pretty bad damage compared to Team A, and also thanks to a bug in the game, I can't gain perfection with him if he's in Team B. Wait, why am I not gaining perfection, by the way? What just happened? But my Verso's bugged! He just doesn't gain perfection, man! Are you serious? I decide not to waste any time attempting with Team B, and after several hours of rock bashing, I come back with Team A again. Okay, 16. Does she have a phase 2 in this phase? Oh God! What is this? No, she's got a curse! I forgot! She's got a curse! Achoo! Luckily, the curse she applies during the second half of phase 2 is only a gimmick, because if you shoot the floating orbs around her, you can keep resetting your curse timer that you see on top of your head. They also spawn every time she gets a turn, so you can potentially delay the curse for as long as you want. And finally, after 5 long hours and perfectly parrying all her insane combos in phase 2, we get really close to beating her, and this happens. Okay. Okay, Unleash. Here we go.
Il faut parer.
I should have gone into Virtuous, I guess. Why are we all burning as well? What happened? Why are we all on fire? Dude, I don't understand. She's not gonna do anything. I guess, okay, I'm just gonna go marking card here. Oh my God, that took so long, man. That took so long. After beating the Paintress, we finally get access to Painted Power. After beating Act 2, we get the ability to fly and head towards Lumiere to face the final boss. On the way, I also buy the full strength Picto from this merchant, which gives me a 25% damage boost on full HP. We also get access to Mael's new high damage skills like Stun Doll and Burning Canvas, so I get those and write in Gustav's diary to get the Gustav's homage ability, which is going to be pretty useful for the fight coming up. For Verso, I also get the follow-up skill and upgrade everyone's weapons to 19. I make one final detour to get an OP Picto called In Media Res, which gives me 3 shields at the start of the battle. Finally, we head towards the final boss, Renoir 3. Renoir 3 is a difficult boss. His phase 1 is hard with a whole bunch of combos. He's got a jump attack that's probably the easiest to punish because of the symbol telling you the timing for it. However, his black hole and his cross are both really weirdly timed. His Paintress combo also seems to come at a proper timing, but he drags his weapon that you tend to parry early quite often.
Dude, I almost had it.
Thanks to Painted Power, we finally see some decent numbers on the counterattack. Renoir has 50% more HP than the Paintress, but our damage output is much higher, so we reach phase 2 on the very first attempt. Phase 2, though, goes absolutely insane. His Void Meteors completely destroy the team and they collide at the ground at a very delayed interval compared to the visual. He also has 2 cursed melee combos that took me forever to learn, similar to the Paintress. His Swift Attack is a 6-piece combo that comes at varying different intervals. This one took me a little bit to learn, but is nothing compared to the real Nightmare combo, the Frenetic combo. This is an 8-piece combo that ends with a gradient, and you gotta parry the whole thing to have a chance at getting the gradient off. This attack took me the longest to learn and was very punishing anytime I would fail. I struggled with him for a while, but the next attempt I decided to bring back Verso into the team so I could see the damage of the follow-up skill.
Oh my god. 194 without a crit?
I also remembered that I have Gustav's Homage, so it was time to see what it could do for me here. Finally, the 2 characters who were consistently performing the worst the entire run started to be useful thanks to Painted Power. And with that, we reach the final stage of his phase 2 where he starts flying around for his ultimate combo.
Okay, here we go. Time to clutch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Perfect parries. Even though I missed that one, but if you don't tell, I won't tell. Dude, he's insane, man. Verso's crazy. With the follow-up. That one change, like, did I win? Wait, again? Wait, he does it twice? Oh, shit, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. He's crazy. Holy, there it is, man. The level 1 run.
With Renoir down, we still had to take care of one more thing. I decided to pick Verso and end the story the way it started, by fighting Sciel.
Bitch. She lived! Oh, just as planned. Just as planned.
If you guys liked the video, please do make sure to like and subscribe for more.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. You know what's funny? I never teared up during that scene, man. That's one of the scenes I can proudly say that I never teared up for. I stood on business, man. I'm more of a Tobey Maguire fan. She was the main villain all along. Genuine question? No, there's no, like, villains in the story. Except Verso, because he's evil. Dark Gustav is actually evil, but I'm yet to find him in the game.